Good morning, everybody. How you doing out there? This is Damon Bond of Bond Realty Group, LLC, licensed real estate broker in Connecticut and licensed real estate broker in New York. I hope everybody's doing well today. I hope everybody had a good weekend. It's humid a little bit here in the, Connecticut, New York area, New York metro area. I hope everybody's well. Today, I want to discuss briefly on what happens if you happen to inherit a piece of property. You could be land, but particularly, a house. That's what I want to talk about, particularly a house, rather. I want to talk about some type of house, whether it's a condo, multifamily, or single-family house. And I was thinking about this, over the weekend because I know a lot of people. I know a lot of great people I know, and they wound up inheriting a property from a loved one. Usually, a family member died. It was either a mother, a father, an aunt, some type of relative, and it was deeded that they have the property. And it concerned me a little bit because a lot of times I found a number of things be wrong with these properties. Number one, the property, when they get it, is usually either A, not well maintained, they let it fall into disrepair, disarray, or B, is the fact that usually they wind up losing the property, and the loss of the property is usually due to not paying the mortgage or not paying the property taxes or some other thing like that. So I just want to address those kind of quickly. If you inherit a property, it's pretty much a gift, if you will, a gift. If you're religious, you can say it's a gift of God or, whatever you want to say. Whatever. You're not religious, it's just a gift. It is a gift because you inherited a piece of property. That's good. Not everybody can get a piece of property. And, the property a lot of times is in a high cost living area, like, for example, Stamford, Connecticut, or it could be somewhere in New York where I also practice. And this property has usually been in a property for a couple of generations. So maybe the grandfather purchased it and it went down to the parents. Now it's going down to the kids because the parents moved on. So they actually left you something. And what's interesting is a lot of times these properties are either paid off in full. So that means the only thing you're doing is paying for the utilities and the property taxes. That's it. Or if the property does have a mortgage on it, does have a mortgage attached to the property, usually that mortgage has been paid down where you are literally just paying mostly principal, not even interest any longer in that property. And in a few years, that property will be paid off, which means that your payment will be pretty low. And I asked myself, well, what's the reason behind it? I mean, I know the reason, but it's more rhetorical. What's the reason behind of someone losing, their property? So let's tell people. So I knew a person who got a property, his mother passed on, he inherited the property from the mother. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, he couldn't keep up with the mortgage. There was a mortgage to the house, but it was low mortgage. And a lot of this is due to ignorance. And I'm not putting anybody down, but it's due to ignorance, or it's due to a lack of knowledge, which is really ignorance. And because they were never taught, about budgeting, and things like that. And if you have a two-family house, that's even better, because if you have a two-family house, you can live in one unit, rent free, and rent out the other unit. Or you can rent out both units and just let that pay for the, taxes and utilities and stuff like that, if there's any. And so that's what I find is a lack of education. So if you find yourself, acquiring a piece of property, and let's say there's no other, heirs to the property, you're the only one, or, whatever it may be, you may want to consider some things. Number one, consider if you have the will to upkeep the property, if you have the will and the desire. If you don't have the will, don't have the desire, then I say, of course, get a realtor and sell a property and then do what you want with the proceeds from the sale of the house. That's what I would say, if you have no will and desire. Now, if you have a will and a desire, that's fine, but you got to understand some things going into it. Number one, you have to, have a budget, of course. This is a house. So if it's a multifamily house, you have to say, okay, how much is the mortgage? If there's a mortgage to the house, so if let's say your mortgage is $1,000 a month, right? You have there's a two-family house, one of the units you can rent for $1,000 a month. Your mortgage is taken care of right there already. You just got to out of your pocket, you'll just be paying for the upkeep of the house, which is good. So that's the first thing you have to do. You have to budget yourself, all right? Budget for expenses such as taxes and mortgage. Which brings me to our second point. If there is no mortgage on the property and is owned free and clear, you just have to pay the municipal taxes on the property. Once again, budget money for the taxes. Because if you don't pay your taxes, the city, town, whatever it is, or state can seize the property from you. And you don't want that to happen. So that's the things you want to consider if you do decide to keep the property. The third thing you want to consider is the upkeep of the property. Now, sometimes the property has been kept up, it's clean, but it may be, outdated. It just needs updating, but it's clean. That's fine. You don't have to do anything right away. You could, do a little bit at a time. Say, okay, I'm going to take care of the kitchen, this summer after I get my tax returns. And then, I save a little bit more money. I'm going to update the bathroom. That's fine. As long as everything is working. And on the flip side, you have a property that may be in disrepair because, dear old sweet mom or, dear old, Aunt Sally didn't keep it up towards the later part of their life. And then that's something to consider also. So once again, you say, okay, let me tackle this. I'm going to tackle the worst place I'm going to tackle first. And the place that needs cosmetic, let's say the bathroom is fine, just needs to be cosmetically done. But let's say you need a new kitchen, floors right out, you need that. You may want to consider that. I know it's a headache, but it is a house. So you may want to do that as well. So these are just some things to consider when you have a property. And the third thing is, let's say the property was updated and there's nothing's in disrepair, then you yourself don't want to let the property fall into this condition. Meaning what? Meaning that, yes, in addition to do the cosmetic stuff, such as cutting the lawn, once a week or once every other week, there's other things you want to do. You want to make sure the roof is okay. You want to make sure, the floors are looking good. You want to make sure that, walk around the foundation. There are any cracks in it. You want to take care of that. These are all things you can do yourself. These are called preventative maintenance items that you can do so that way it won't turn out to a big problem. All right. So that way the roof will say, okay, if you upkeep your roof, you clean out the gutters and whatnot, your roof will last you a good 10, 15 years on it. These are some things you may want to do. You may want to have your furnace, or if you have a furnace, or your boiler, or whatever it may be, serviced, once a year or something like that, just to clean it out. So these are some things.